Hey HDA and welcome back to Ixion. Today I'm gonna focus a lot on clearing out all of these events because this is going to give us a ton of science. We already have a huge amount of science, but as you can see we have, what is it, 6 events still waiting for us. I think there's at least one more over here somewhere, and then we also have 100 science over here still waiting for us. That will allow us to kind of push through the technology tree quite significantly and hopefully find some more interesting events here as well. Starting at the R&D center, the laboratories were severely damaged by the Atamananki's depressurization. Most equipment has either been destroyed or is missing. The team found clear traces of laser cutting. Floors and walls have been ripped open. The R&D district was a secure area studying not only space-related phenomena, but also technologies considered forbidden by the UN. Recovered research reports mention Dolos, BMS, and the Estengenite invention being studied. Interesting. Well, we got 50 science and 820 cryopods. We're going to need more storage for those cryopods. Oh, interesting. We can actually open the Oran 8 security room, but in order to do that, we actually need the Tycoon to be in orbit. So let's make that happen. And there we go. Meanwhile, at the Habitation Center, well, we have finished our evaluation of the cryopods. We were able to recover a large amount ready for extraction. The recovery area is horrifying. The body parts that float around here are mostly from civilians. The dwellings within the habitation sector look more like slums than real housing. Population density must have been extremely high. Some bodies show clear signs of disease and malnutrition. Well, we have another 800 of these cryopods. We're going to need an easier way to thaw these people out. Now what's interesting is that we actually don't get the option to leave, we only get the option to push deeper into the structure to reach the source of the unusual readings. I'm hoping this is a good thing because we can't actually withdraw. There is no sign that this is going to be a bad event, but it's strange anyway. And at the docking bay, the communications room is a theater of atrocities. Frozen, severed body parts float everywhere in a grisly spectacle. I see a trend happening here. The team that found the Atamanaki had implemented a system of non-computerized communication in the battle. The UN crew had discovered that the messages they were sending and receiving via devices and hardware in this area were being tampered with. This falsification of information caused a cascading series of accidents and prompted the move to a new comms system. Something was hacking or mimicking the Atamananki's communication protocols perfectly. Well, at least we get 20 more science. I was hoping to get some follow-up to see if we can counter the hacking thing, but for now, let's investigate the intact docking port. Now, I just completed the train research, or train station research, I should say, and that means in the gateways I can actually now build a train station. It's a little bit expensive on the electronics side, so we're going to need to produce some more of those, but it's going to speed up, well, the transfer of people for one, so that's quite important. It will also actually transfer the effect of some buildings. I'm just not sure why I can build it in either sector. Maybe it's like connecting. I'm guessing that this means that you connect sector 1 to both the adjacent sides, so let's just go with that first, because we are transferring people between sectors every now and then, and well, we're thawing out most people in sector 1, so that's a good place to start as any. And apparently that means that you can see this train station being built over here. I'm guessing that connects these two sides, although, well, you can actually see it on this side as well. That's interesting. I have no idea if this is going to work exactly as we expect, but we'll find out soon enough, I guess. Now, I can't stress enough how useful these waste treatment centers are. I only have 2 of them at the moment, but basically I set these to produce whatever I need the most. So right now I'm making these solar panels, so we need more of these polymers. We're building the train station, so we're producing some electronics, and actually I have some waste to spare. So what I'm thinking is maybe, just maybe, we might be able to fill up this little area over here with another one of these waste treatment centers. Now this is actually going to cost some more electronics as well, but I'm going to prioritize this and then just set it to produce electronics, because that seems to be the most efficient way to move forward. So I've repurposed a couple of these stockpiles that I wasn't using for anything else to just hold more people, just so we can make sure we have all those people, all those cryopods at least coming in. And because we actually have a quest to thaw out 2,000 of these people, I'm gonna go and research one of these production speed increases for the Caronic Center after we complete the Exo fighting though. The reason for this is not necessarily because we're in a hurry to complete that 2,000 quest, because we're not. We have plenty of time, at least I hope so. I just want to make sure I get far enough into the quest to avoid getting stuck in this level or even losing the level just because we're taking too long. Meanwhile, back at the R&D district, the Tycoon arrived at the thing, so now we can actually try to open the security room door. Meanwhile, at the habitation center, making progress through the metal debris that lies everywhere has been difficult, yet the Menanke has been constructed from a range of extremely strong alloys. We have come to an area of fallen debris, which forms a precarious cave around us. Two paths onward are possible. We could pass through a large section of pipe that has been laser cut. Temperature analysis of the cuts indicate it happened some time ago. Alternatively, there is a reinforced tunnel leading away from here. Its sides are covered in bullet holes. We could continue to use the drilling rig, but one of these paths will surely save us time. So basically we have the option between a few shortcuts. We can proceed through the laser cut piping, there's only one cycle, or proceed through the reinforced tunnel with all the bullet holes in it, that is 2 cycles, or we can just continue drilling. I'm not in a hurry, and if this is the safe option, then I'm definitely taking that one. And at the destroyed docking bay, this is the Melon team, we are stationed by the docking port. It has accumulated a huge mass of debris at the bottom of it. Broken vessels, corpses, damaged crypods all have been frozen into a horrible amalgam. Ships have entered the port too quickly, crashing inside while attempting to flee. The docking bay came under heavy projectile fire, which tore open the hull and breached the protective plating of the Atmananki. We have discovered an intact, unexploded BMS missile embedded in the wreckage. We should investigate this further. That sounds like a very bad idea. Okay, so we can either initiate a controlled detonation of the missile, defuse the missile, or transport the missile back to the Tycoon. This seems like a very bad idea, honestly. So I'm leaning towards trying to defuse it. Maybe we'll learn something useful from it. However, I'm first just going to leave it and make sure we get the 44 signs that's already there. And now that is done, let's go and defuse the missile. Oh yeah, bring on the upgrades as well as other stuff. Let's see, scattered files on the floor of the security room contain warnings about the prohibited nature of what's stored in the area beyond. Behind further door, a long chamber was filled with the occupied Dolos cryopods. Numerous data disks full of scientific information were also discovered. These finds are of incredible value, I agree. We apparently unlocked something for the technology lab, as well as some resources, which is always welcome, but I think this is the main thing that's what we want. So let's see what that gives us. Oh, here in the bottom. The research cost for upgrades is reduced by 10%. Really? Yeah, okay, so we're going to pause this. We are definitely going to... No, that's not what I want to do. Oh, hold on. I want to research this right now, because that will make everything else 10% cheaper. This is an amazing upgrade. Well, I'm actually surprised that thing didn't blow up, but apparently we have managed to defuse the missile. The technology contained within is not only more advanced than that aboard the Tycoon or even the Atmananki, but it's of a structure and a logic belonging to a completely different scientific paradigm. We have transmitted data and schematics to the Tycoon Tech Lab for further analysis. Well, interesting, but at least it's another thing to explore, so this is really, really interesting. I'm really liking this chapter, to be honest. So by the looks of it, we'll be able to turn our Tycoon into kind of a flying fortress type of thing. Not only can we research the hacking threat analysis that we unlocked a while ago, but we can also now actually research the missile threat analysis. So this will allow us to construct missile countermeasure systems in the probe launcher. I guess we're going to battle. Speaking of battle, we're still exploring the medical station, and it took time to get through the records, but we have reached the area of the readings, the long way around this time apparently. But there's no bad thing. There is, however, a small shelter cobbled together from surrounding debris. Within it, a number of broken drones shaped like deep sea creatures float in the lack of gravity. They bear the BMS logo of the Black Market Society. This is the first time we have seen machines like these. We have transmitted schematics and data and proposed further analysis of the drones to be conducted back on board the Tycoon. Within a small recess at the back of the shelter, we found the corpse of an Etanmananki soldier with a now spent breathing device. They had tried to modify one of the broken drones to produce an improvised heat source. He has been dead for several days? Days. So if we would have been faster, we might have been able to communicate with him. The weak radio signal was transmitting from the suit's emergency beacon. We presume an attempt to contact other survivors. Interesting. So if we would have gone the fast way, we might have been able to talk to him. But now we still get the Agent of Death event as well as 60 signs. So I'll take it. It's worth noting, by the way, that the storm has completely cleared the system now, and I'm not guessing it's going to come back. So we can actually harvest all of this stuff, including, most importantly, the 130 signs, 35 signs that's still waiting for us here. But we have plenty of stuff to do at this side of the system for the moment. For example, we're going to send the Einstein to Crook P51. That might be another planet we might be able to colonize. You are still collecting the science, so let's send the Melon. Where are you? You're at the docking bay, right? Yep. You can go and explore the other planet. Now, there's, like I said, there's more events, but I'm actually spending all of my polymers at the moment to build that solar panel. It's taking a little longer than I expected, but then we should be able to send out some more probes to find the other events as well. Oh, and I actually almost forgot to mention, but the drone event that we got actually now allows us to also create an exterior device that disrupts the BMS drone targeting systems. So basically, I think if we research all of this, we should be in a very good place at least to defend ourselves against whoever is going to try to attack us. Now remember how everything used to cost 90 signs, at least on the outer ring? Well, it now costs 81. We have plenty of stuff to still research, and it also the 10% discount is now also being applied to all the upgrades. So this is going to save us a ton of signs. Not that we're lacking signs at the moment, but still, it's very useful. I'm gonna go and complete the Exo Fighting Dome and then focus on the Health Center before starting to research any further upgrades, because this will allow us to set up a very nice next sector. And the events keep on coming. We're now at the nice little green planet that we found, and we are navigating through an almost semi-liquid environment. Tremendous pressure is putting the resistances of our suit to the test. Having reached the core, we are preparing to sort out towards what appears to be a collection of geysers. Geysers. The area that provided the environmental data. So we can do a protrusive analysis. The team will have to make adjustments to the explosives so that they don't compromise samples or the success of the mission. Or we can set up a temporary study center. Okay. And this will, or we can set up an advanced analysis infrastructure. Yeah, I guess why not? Might as well just do it properly, right? And meanwhile, at the other planets, we have landed on P43. The electromagnetic signal, words, difficult, seem to be transmitting from below the planet's surface, so we only have a limited amount of time to investigate before our suits and the Melon's hull are compromised. Okay, so we're under time pressure. Damien recommends the use of demolition charge to accelerate the excavation process. Or we can deploy a drilling rig and bore through the crust. So we get the hint now that we are on a clock, so let's make sure we basically speed up things a little bit. Took me a while to realize, but we actually got an event popping up that was related to the resource that we just upgraded. The 10% discount also comes with its own personal assistant, and we could integrate it into our Tech Lab computer systems to help it with our research, or we can just say no because it's UN technology. But honestly, I don't see... Well, I can see plenty of downsides, especially considering this screen over here, but I'm going to take the risk nonetheless. And apparently this gives us another upgrade for the Tech Lab. Interesting. Okay, so this is slightly confusing, but the upgrade that was mentioned in the event is actually the upgrade that we already unlocked. So I'm really confused what would have happened if we said no and then researched it anyway. But anyway, yeah, no extra upgrades for us, I suppose. However, the good news is that we are currently now building the solar panels, so we should also be able to send out some probes soon again. And we also have the train stations up and running soon, so all is going according to plan. Oh, and speaking of which, we actually now have access to the Exo Fighting Dome, and it costs a casual 450 alloy and 9 electronics. So, yeah, we're going to need some more resources to actually build this, although the alloy we are stocking up quite nicely at the moment, but the 9 electronics is a lot. It also needs 40 power, so I'm guessing those solar panels will come in use very soon. However, we also have the third waste treatment center up and running now, and I'm going to set this to also produce some electronics because we're going to need all the electronics we can get. Ooh, and look, we have more events. Well, apparently blowing things up is not always a bad idea because the explosion, which was larger than expected, revealed a huge system of subterranean tunnels. Despite the rubble and instability of the area, the Melon's team identified a passageway leading to the anomaly. The journey downward was without incident. The anomaly is in a large cave full of strange geological forms. Concentric circles are present on the walls, reaching from floor to ceiling and formed of many layers of different sediments. Crystal formations have grown everywhere. What is most astonishing, however, is the anomaly itself, a huge grey sphere, about 4 meters in diameter, floating in the center of the cave. Didn't we have one of these spheres as well in one of the first chapters, and it turned out very badly? Let's find out. Okay, so what do we want to do? Examine the sphere, the crystal formations, or the concentric circles? It's probably a good idea to do at least one of these before we do this one, assuming this is a bad event, similar to last time. We are also on a time limit, although we didn't get a hint that something is collapsing just yet, so I'm assuming we can do at least one of these. Let's just go with, I don't know, the circles. Okay, so apparently there's a downside to colonizing these planets other than getting a huge amount of science from it, because we now have a -1 permanent stability penalty. It's not the worst thing in the world because we have plenty of stability at the moment, but still, interesting. And I just want to point out that we have 100 science for us waiting here, 50 here, and then we already have 350 in the bank, and we're still non-stop researching stuff. We have some more science over here, we have probably more science coming up over here, and then we have more things to research as well. So basically at this point we are, well, not able to research everything because that's going to cost us more than the science we have, but we're going to go a very long way to basically researching the entire technology tree. Oh, look at our nice little trains moving along. It's interesting to see though that you actually do have to build the trains in every single sector. I was kind of hoping it would cover 3 sectors at a time, but that might have been wishful thinking on my part. So yeah, we're going to need to build more trains. We'll need a lot more electronics for that. And that means I have my waste treatment center here and here, both set to electronics. And then one more just on polymers to kind of restock with after that. Afterwards, I'm probably going to switch this to electronics as well for the time being. Well, so far so good. The concentric circles do not have a classical geological origin. A phenomenon unknown and external to the geological activity observed on P43 generated these strange formations. The circles are not perfect, but the distance between each layer is proportional to their diameters. Atomic analysis revealed the presence of particles characteristic of self-similar space. I have no idea what all of this means, but at least we get 40 more signs out of it. We also get the option to do stuff. It's the same 2 options that we didn't pick last time. I'm actually going to go for the sphere now because I'm a little bit worried about the whole time-sensitive thing that we had before, and I do want to see what the sphere does. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I do want to focus a little bit on thawing out our people faster, but honestly after that I do want to make sure we get some nice upgrades. One thing I've been ignoring so far, and I'm not entirely sure if that's correct, is the upgrades to the cargo ship, otherwise than making sure they stay alive. Having these move faster is going to increase the amount of resource we get in by a lot. So I'm actually tempted to kind of go down this line a little bit and get that going. Well, the sphere repels anything or anyone that gets too close to it, as if it were a magnet repelling another. According to our readings, the sphere is composed of multiple layers. A thin gaseous layer covers the surface, a seemingly sedimentary layer beneath. Within that, a core generates a strong electromagnetic field that periodically degasses the surface. We also have detected the presence of particles characteristic of self-similar space. I see a theme here. Behavioral reports suggest that Roxona is developing a strange fascination with the sphere. Sensors indicate that the team's suits and the melon's hull will soon be compromised by the planet's atmosphere. Repatriation should be initiated with urgency. Well, I'm going to do this time around because last time we ignored this warning, our ship blew up. So that means no analyzing the crystal formations, but this is the only thing that's left, so I'm not thinking we are leaving anything, so we're just going to leave. Well, we're leaving the planet, but we're not leaving anything valuable behind. Well, apparently we are leaving someone behind at least, because Roxana leaped onto the sphere. Unlike our previous attempts, they were not repelled, they were sucked in. Everything has been recorded in the report. We'll leave this barren and cursed rock. So someone just jumped in there? Interesting. Okay, so we have slightly faster ships now, and that means that actually I wanted to upgrade my smart homes next in order to get some more housing capacity. But in order to do that, we actually need to upgrade the cryonic center first to speed up the production speed of, well, the defrosting of the people. Now, we're basically doing this anyway right now, so this seems a perfect opportunity to actually research that, and then afterwards we'll take the smart homes and make sure we actually have a nice allocation of homes to store all of these people. Okay, so it took a while to set up our research station, but we have discovered bacteria. They are not only capable of arranging amino acids, but by utilizing geyser emissions as binding agents, they restructure mineral deposits and carve out basins around the geysers. Further groups of bacteria were found within these basins. We have named the bacteria as Myers and would like to carry out further behavioral analysis. Well, why not? We are on a science mission today after all, so let's investigate the little rascals. Speaking of being on a science mission, you can actually upgrade your science ship as well in order to get more science from these events. But honestly, it's not a huge increase, although it does add up eventually. But in order to get all of that extra research, you actually have to invest quite a bit of research as well. And in order to unlock all of this, you would actually need some upgrades to the docking bay as well, which honestly aren't particularly useful. So I'm not really sure if that's worth it. If you do it very early on, maybe, but I think at this point we're kind of beyond that. And honestly, we have so much science already waiting for us that it feels like a bit of overkill. Now, something that is definitely not overkill is power, and honestly, there's a couple of things we can do to optimize that. So first of all, I want to get the power reduction for the waste treatment sensor. We have 3 of those now, so this is a flat 15 power that we're going to save ourselves. And it's pretty much the same as building a 4th one if we would have the waste to actually maintain that, which we don't. But saving 15 power is quite a lot. And then on top of that, I do want to research the last upgrade for the solar panels as well, because this is going to give us another boost to our power. Well, this science expedition is definitely turning out to be interesting, because apparently we found bacteria that are basically smart. They live inside of geysers and they use tools, and they actually have a language as well. And with the help of the PA, we send a message to the colony through appropriate stimuli, and they responded. The colony has proposed to follow us on an expedition to the Tycoon. This will be a monumental undertaking, as a single human cycle corresponds to several hundred of theirs. We have determined that the best way of transporting the bacteria will be to settle a small colony within the respiratory tract of one of the crew. Really? Well, that sounds like a very bad idea. Perhaps an extreme method, but it will provide the ideal conditions for the bacteria, an intelligent and aware species. This will surely open the way for new perspectives. This initially seemed like a very cool idea, but now, since they're actually going to live inside one of my crew members, not so sure. Oh well, authorized transportation of the Mayer bacteria. Meanwhile, we landed on another planet in this system. There's actually 2 more left to discover, and we have landed near Site 0. We should be protected from the aluminum rain here. That seems very dangerous. We have located a formation of unknown origin and are commencing exploration of the site. So what's going on with this formation? It's a formation of particular interest. Okay, that doesn't really tell us anything, so let's go and investigate. And then on the last planet which we can explore, we have landed in a crater we have named Desolation. That seems very... okay. The green ground here seems to be made of glass-like substance, possibly obsidian, and the crater's rim is razor sharp. Telluric formations within the crater resemble waves frozen in time. We think we can pull some interesting data from sediment analysis, or we could try to discover what impacted here. Well, you know, like before, let's... set up a base and do it properly. Okay, so apparently the ship that we were going to use to transport the bacteria got destroyed, and there is one person ready for extraction. I'm guessing that's the one with the bacteria. Interesting. So we're going to need to build a new ship and extract that one person, I guess. Luckily, it's not all bad news because the telluric formation is circular in shape and has steep sides, and we have begun mapping the numerous tunnels that lead inside it. Initial reports suggest that these were not created by natural phenomena, but dug intentionally. Continued behavior analysis of the team is registering breaches of Dolos safety protocols as well as metaphysical and psychological aberrations. One crew member appears to have removed their protective helmet, convinced that the air in the tunnels was breathable. Accounting for the PU-41's atmosphere, their remaining lifespan is estimated to be 37 minutes. So we can either decide to kind of let them do their thing, and that will be faster, but we can also continue exploration of the formation, implementing strict psychological monitoring. Honestly, this seems to be the safe bet, so let's go with that again. Well, with all our power issues fixed for the moment, let's focus on getting a little bit faster cargo ships, and while we're at it, we might as well improve the speed of our mining ships as well. Well, safety paid off because thanks to the intensive psychological and medical follow-up, the Mendeleev team was able to conclude the study. Solid aluminum particles carried by the winds of P-41 created a network of tunnels. The erosive process has transformed the topography of the planet. When the particles collide with each other inside the tunnels, their reverberation generates a low-frequency vibration. When this passes through the inner ear, it alters human neural activity. So basically it drives you crazy. So this is a little weird. We actually get the option to override the security protocols anyway. This seems like a very bad idea. This seems like a trap, so I'm just gonna leave the planet. Now, when we're done making our ships faster, or at least, well, we already made them quite a bit faster, but actually want to make sure they can store more resources as well. But in order to do that, we're going to need to upgrade the docking bay first. So let's just do that. This is going to increase spaceship construction by 10%. That's completely useless, but the 20% additional carry capacity, or even more than that actually later on, is definitely going to be awesome. And while we're at it, we have a decent stockpile of electronics now, so let's build some train station. Let's build one in Sector 2, so we have this whole rail going on here as well. And let's also build one in Sector 6. Well, and honestly, while we're at it, we might as well just build one in Sector 3 as well. Does this actually cost power? No, it doesn't say it costs any power. That's interesting. So then there's no downside really, other than just the material cost of building trains everywhere. I knew it. I actually brought the Tycoon to the place that we had that one person with the bacteria in them still on the planet with the one cryopod, and they brought their cryopod on board, and now I get an event popping up. The security protocols remember the removal of such a cryopod to avoid an epidemic. I'm just going to take the risk and see if we can make a careful study. The danger that fire presents in space is certainly significant, but overestimated for a structure such as the Tycoon. The station is built to withstand a lot of punishment. Obviously, a response team must be dispatched eventually before bulkheads melt and infrastructure is destroyed. Okay, so apparently we need to pledge that we get a fire station going on because we have a fire here. I'm not entirely sure why we had a fire. We had a temporary additional working hours because we had a few people missing from this sector because they were injured, I think. But apparently we have a house on fire now, so that's not a good thing. Let's build a fire station. I was wondering when we are going to use one of those. Where are we building this? Maybe tucked here in this corner or something? How about this? This looks nice and organized, doesn't it? We have a fire station coming up over here. Let's put it to high priority. I don't think we're going to be able to save this building. Not sure what we can do about this, honestly, but yeah, we have a fire station coming in soon enough. Meanwhile, we upgraded the docking bay, and that means we can now let our cargo ships get 20% more resources incoming. We can actually also upgrade our mining ships to get 10% more resources from a deposit. This is not the same as what we did before, because this just makes them work faster. And this means we actually get more bang for our buck in terms of how many resources we have on the map. So this seems like a very efficient thing to upgrade as well. Okay, so apparently this fire can actually spread. That's not good. And another research station was completed, and we discovered that P-37 was, until very recently, a gas giant. A nuclear reaction of immense magnitude dissipated the planet's gas and vitrified its formerly liquid core. This event caused P-37 to deviate from its natural orbit. There is no evidence that this was triggered by a collision with an asteroid or other celestial body. Our theory suggests it was caused by an external intervention, like, say, spaceships firing at each other, something like that. Either way, it's worth 65 science. And with that, our final science event is completed, which means we now have over 500, almost 600 in total science still in stock, and we've been researching non-stop this episode as well. So yeah, plenty of more upgrades to go, but in the next episode I really want to focus on upgrading the station. We have a very decent stockpile of materials now in order to do that. And well, we have, as you can see, a ton of resources still on the map. I've been moving the Tycoon kind of central to many of these resources, but we have a whole area over here, then we have a small area over here with all of the resources that we need. We could even move on the other side of the map where I haven't really done anything yet. And then even if we have the time left and we still want to, we can even move back to where we came from, especially up here. There's a lot of resources to go still. So this was a very science-heavy episode, but we had some fires to put out as well, and hopefully we'll be able to do that in the next episode. If you're still here, you're awesome. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I will catch you in the next one.